Hey everybody, welcome to pop number six. All the way from sunny Boulder, Colorado, we have the late great but not late Nikki Zeljo.
On time.
Yes, the on time. That's yeah. If late means dead, then on time must mean alive.
Yes.
All right, so we're just gonna jump right into weekly winners before we get into the nitty gritty of this episode. And I'm doing a part that I've memorized the part number because I've checked it so much on Bricks and Pieces. Is 3069B, and that is the tile 1x2. B means with groove. And in dark green, this part sells for over $2
I
and,
had
and
no idea.
270. So the deal with this is it came in the first turbo tank and some weird creator set. I think the minimum quantity in a set came as 7. So when you find one, you probably got 6 more
Yep.
at the very least. So I've got quite a few of them for sale. If you're watching this and you need it, go
Huh.
buy them. But
I had ferocious creatures.
the set as a
Yep.
kid,
Uh-huh.
that's ferocious.
It's probably sitting in a bin somewhere. So, some winners out there.
Part it out. They're everywhere. That's the idea behind weekly winners.
Cool. Well, my winner is part 6044, slope 53, 3x1x3 and a third with studs on slope. I found that a few times in black. I find it pretty frequently in black. Has a good sell through. It sells for $1.88 average on Bricklink in black, but it's also good in every color that it comes in, which is white and yellow. It's old. I think it is old. It
It
was
yeah,
yeah,
it
it's
looks
90s.
old. They don't make them like they used to.
So if you find these parts, if you find like a lot with 90s um, Castle, or it looks like Ninja has them. Okay, now let's get to the rest of the episode.
Awesome. Let's start off this episode like most good episodes start with the beginning, which is just a recap of what we covered. Um, should I sell in Bricklink? What do I do? Who am I? What is this? And eventually you get to a point where you've got to sort your bulk.
That's right. We are finally going to talk about sorting. Uh,
Indeed.
I guess it will have just been about a week since we uploaded the one about sourcing, although it's been
Yeah,
almost, I feel like, two
a
and a half
month.
weeks. 3
Yeah,
weeks
it
since
feels like a month since
you still had
we
long
recorded
hair.
it. Yeah, so I've gotten a haircut, as you can see. Very nice. Looks sort of like a certain Lego hair that I'm not thinking of right now. Yeah, I've been doing the ears out, much to the love of people who see me.
Yeah. And I am wearing my wig once again, so
Yeah, that's Nikki's hairpiece. If you've seen his Instagram, cool. So let me ask you this: what or how did you first sort bulk, if ever?
well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I sorted by color the first time I sorted bulk.
Ooh, I
And guess what I still have in my closet downstairs from 2 years ago?
your color sorted bulk.
Color sorted bulk that I
That's
never
awesome.
uploaded, that I'm going to dump into a bin and send out to a sorter to sort by category.
Very nice. Yes, I when I first started, I sorted by color for a few weeks. Finished that, and I was like, wow, this is hard to upload. If only there was a way that was faster. And that's really the heart of it all is efficiency. And there are a few sort of sorting theories, leading ideas. You want to touch it as few times as possible, but also you want to be as efficient as possible. So obviously, in an ideal world, you'd have a container for every single part and just pick it up and be able to put it there. That's limited by space and memory and sort of just the overwhelmingness of seeing everything.
Right.
So definitely needs to be broken down. So I think that's where the real, I guess, intellectual battle begins. Is what sort of categories should one be sorting into?
Right. So there are. You can always come up with your own categories.
Yes, there are
Or
the sort of basic ones. I guess when I first did it, I did I did any brick, any plate, any tile, and then everything else. And that was very fast the first sort, but figuring it out from there was a huge headache.
Yeah.
So,
So there are the David West categories now because of that.
yes. So what happened was I was like, okay, after I sort into these, I sort of split it into the same group every time. Why don't we just cut that out and figure it out from there? So the bricks and plates I'm most proud of because those everyone seems to pick those up really well. And it makes sense to me. Just 1 by 2 by, big and modified for both bricks and plates. And the rest, there's some debating to be had, but I'm happy with how they are. And the people who sort for me seem to have caught on fairly quickly.
The most confusing one for every sorter, it seems, is if it is a slope and a wedge, they usually put it in
Where does it
slope,
go?
and it's
Yeah,
supposed to go in wedge.
yes. And for those of you who don't know, Nikki has stolen my intellectual property, and he's using these categories as
Right,
well.
and you can too. All you have to do is
Yeah.
go to the description of this video.
Yeah, and we'll have a PDF and or just the Google Docs for the category
I have
for the
changed David's
categories
categories a little bit for what I
for
use.
the worse for the worse.
Not for the worse. It actually clarifies a lot of things and makes it better. But you're still gonna get David's categories.
Yeah, as they were made by the creator.
Right. Usually, yes. We
Not
could
to
also
say,
include other people's categories. I know that Great Brick Lab has public
yeah.
categories.
Well, we'll throw those in. I think Nathan from Brickslayer uses those categories. I looked at theirs when I was first getting catalogers because I thought I need something that anyone could pick up and know. Um, and they're all right. I still think they're too broad, and they leave something to be desired. I mean, just for my personal use. So I had the categories I was using, and they didn't really have a name or any sort of documentation. It was just in my head what made sense. So what I did was I took 5 pieces ish from each category, and I just took a picture of them, and then I gave it to sorters, and they came back so out of place and just like no consistency at all. So then in a what was the expression? In a
A
fit
fit
of
of rage,
rage.
yeah.
Yeah, in a fit of rage, I went to the brick architect, the brick labels, and he's got like the 600 most common molds currently being produced. I drag and dropped every single one of those into a document, so it's sort of the most comprehensive sorting experience on the internet. Not to, I don't mean to be arrogant, but I've created a masterpiece.
So yeah, that's kind of we have sorting categories that you don't have to create your own. Um,
Because I made the best one possible for you.
right, and that's David's opinion. And I mean, I'm sure that like if a lot of you like have been selling and you're selling used and sorting your own bulk, you probably have your own way of sorting if you're not using David's or Chris's or Nathan's categories. So like that's another thing is you don't have to use somebody else's categories, like whatever works for you.
Yeah. And I think that gets into the sort of next segment or sort of question about sorting is who's doing it? Is it solely the job of the owner if you're a one man show? Are you able to set aside 2 or however many hours a day or hours a week to get some stuff processed, or are you a family help, or are you going as far as to posting online and outsourcing work to strangers and stuff like that?
Yeah. Let me say, as a person who just recently has found people to sort for him, I love it.
Yeah,
It
Nikki has seen the other side,
I
and it
have.
is full of prosperity.
It's insane. I have gotten over 100 pounds sorted, uh, and all I had to do was pay some money.
Yeah, so not to say you can throw money at all your problems in life and you'll be happier than a peach, but in this case, I think you will. And yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience of finding people and the sort of problems or perhaps non-problems that someone might have?
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say that before you hire people to sort, I would just go through and do like a whole tote yourself.
At the very least.
At the very least, just sort like 40, 50 pounds on your own and kind of get an idea of how fast it goes. And that kind of helped me figure out what I should be paying sorters. So I posted on Nextdoor using a very similar post to what David used. I called him one day and was like, "Hey, can you just show me what you said so I don't mess this up?" Um, and yeah, I posted on Nextdoor, just to like local neighborhoods, and said that I was looking for help sorting my Lego, and that I had a store, an online store, and I needed people to sort for me, and I'd be willing to pay this amount. Although I think I had them, it was just a very simple post, linked to a Google Doc. They could read the Google Doc, and that had all the information they needed. Thank you to David for that idea, because long post I guess doesn't work. But yeah, within the
Yeah.
first 2 days, I got 8 people wanting to sort. I only ended up, I 2 people ghosted me. One I didn't reply to because they said they wanted to start in June. Uh,
Yeah, we'll
and
reach out when June comes
yeah, I'll send a text on June 20th when they wanted to start.
around.
And he wasn't just like, "Oh, I'll start in June." It was, "I want to start June 20th." I,
Maybe school's out.
I get, yeah, maybe it's a kid and then school's out. I don't know, but um the experience was great. Most of the people were like responded very fast, and everyone wanted to start right away. So my problem was I couldn't wash Lego, and still is, I cannot wash Lego fast enough to get it out to sorters. And so I've only been doing it for about a week, I think. Yeah, it's been like 1 week now, maybe 8 days since I gave my first 10 pounds out. I've been starting sorters with 10 pounds, and the first guy I gave it to has not gotten back to me. It's been 8 days, so I might have to send a text.
Yeah,
Actually, the first 2 people have not gotten back to me. It's been over a week.
yeah, that's a text I sort of fear sending, but always said it's just like, hey, just checking up any questions for me at this time.
Yeah, and printing out the categories and giving them to the sorters is good.
Yeah, it also eats at your paper a little bit.
It does. Especially if you don't print double sided, which I don't because
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to print double sided because I think most people have it laid out.
yeah,
Like I saw people they just put the cups on top of the paper
yeah.
where each
Um,
category was.
yeah, that's another thing is like preparing little kits for the sorters is what I did. I just made like a little bin,
Yeah,
put 24 bags and 24
exactly.
cups.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one thing is make it scalable. Do not teach to one person because that is I mean, that's the goal is to teach to one person, but the goal is to teach to many because no sorter lasts forever. You know, things happen. I think the biggest thing when you're sort of designing or formulating a plan to in employ help or let's contract help if the IRS is watching. These are contractors. Let's be honest. um, the, uh, the main sort of focus is to make it scalable. So I remember fifth grade there was a project you need to write a how-to paper on how to write a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and the teacher reads it up front and then does exactly what the paper says. And it's so funny because it says like pick up the peanut butter and put it on the bread, and they just put the jar of peanut butter on the bread. So think of that lesson from who was it? Mrs. Mrs. My fifth grade English teacher. Think of that lesson and make a document or a video or something that you could show to anyone in the world and they'd be able to understand the object of the sorting.
That's a good point there. Is don't just leave them on their own. Like kind of give them a little breakdown, I think, of
Yeah,
what's going
and
on.
Chris mentioned this to me. I'm not sure if it was on the video or not about teaching people a catalog, and we'll touch on this next episode. But he said with that he sort of lets them figure it out on their own and ask any questions they have, and I think that is the sort of difference between teaching catalogers and sorting because sorting is a straightforward same thing every week task. Cataloging is sort of like the Wild West, and you find things, you need to locate them, you gotta, count stuff out. So it's a very different thing to teach people. So my original plan was to turn sorters into catalogers, but I found that the transition isn't always so smooth, and there's almost two different like mindsets. Like I feel like people who really enjoy sorting, um, like the monotony, if you will, or the like over and over because they know it's pretty much the same thing every week. You've got your 24 cups, your 24 categories, and with cataloging, you never know, what's the next thing up to be uploaded or whatever.
Yeah, that is one thing, and I've definitely heard Chris mention that from the Great Brick Lab also, like you said.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, but I guess just to go back to what we were saying earlier is, yeah, the experience is great. Like usually the sorters are really cool, and um, they'll. I sometimes you get a really good one, like the one who has done like 95
Yeah.
pounds in a week.
Yeah, I told Nikki I had to weed through quite a bit of people to find like somebody who does it more than once because people do it and most people do not steal. Most people do get it done and bring it back, but the amount of people who bring it back and want more is very slim. And the goal is to find those people who are doing it for the love of it, and not to say that it is my goal to pay such low amounts that you'd only find people who do it for fun. But that's sort of the nature of the thing. Is like people jump in thinking, oh, I get to like play with Lego for money, but it is like work in the sense that there's a job to be done, and maybe it could be mentally taxing.
Yeah. I had a sorter text me today and say that she can't finish the
Yeah,
10 pounds, and uh, she doesn't want to do it.
sorry,
So
kid, it's not for everyone.
that's okay. I didn't
Yeah,
think that she would be returning anyway when I met her. So
yeah. Also, try to be like super. Also, maybe just general life advice and not like reselling advice. Be a just be a good person to to anyone who's sorting for you because these are people too, and you want. I think it's fair to want to compensate people who are helping you make money with some good amount of money.
yeah, I always round up a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, oh, you were supposed to get $42. Have 43. Have 45.
I actually round down.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
I just round down. Hey, I'll owe you.
yeah, I owe you
Also,
17.50. Let's just call it 10.
yeah, also be prepared to have like a lot of cash because you'll be surprised in 2022 how many people still are weary about PayPal or Venmo or whatever. I do always tell people I prefer Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, but I can do cash.
Yeah, I just went to the bank because it seemed like I went to the bank and just grabbed a bunch of small bills. I was like, let me get 110, 75 in fives, and 25 in
Yeah,
ones.
it's just good to have cash on hand.
Yeah.
And a nice side effect of finding sorters in the area is potential network partners, etc. in the future. Like I know I've even just like not even just people who sort for me, but anyone you interact with who is you're interacting in a space where the uh, the opus of conversation is the fact that you're a Lego reseller. Like I remember when I was looking at buildings, like I've had like former agents or whatever, building owners. They just send me random like Craigslist ads of Lego still. Like, is this something you want?
Yeah.
And it the thought is very nice, but it's generally no. But I do appreciate that there's people out there who are because I'm the guy, and that's the goal is to be the guy in your area who's the Lego guy and where Lego goes.
All right, so we've just spent some time talking about hiring sorters, and
Hmm.
maybe that's not necessarily the thing you're looking for. Maybe you
Or the
want to sort
goal.
yourself.
Maybe you should
So
sort your life. Maybe you should sort out your life before you sort bulk.
yes. So I guess we could talk about some strategies for sorting, whether that
Yeah.
be, receiving sorted bulk from sorters or sorting your own bulk and what to do and when to start uploading. And I'll let you take this one away, David.
Oh, you're too kind. What can I say? I have the second best co-host in the world, second
Oh,
only to me.
Okay, okay.
I kid. Okay, so yeah, so what I used to do is sort like 40 to 80 pounds and then completely upload everything. I'll say this: if you're consolidating, especially, this is a terrible strategy because you are going to revisit things every month, every week, and drawers are going to fill up, and then they're not. You need to move things around, so not good in general. And I don't. I mean, we all know I don't even think consolidating in general is at all good. But my point is have a threshold where you think that the upload should be. So for me, any category I process, I want it to be like a minimum of 20,000 parts. Even that's sort of on the smaller side. So just do more than you think you want to. So like when you want to upload the one by whatever plates, because it'll be a lot of quantity, but I challenge you to double that amount and to really work at building up categories before you final sort them, because by when you do final sort them, the payoff is much greater, and you're doing basically the same amount of work, and it gets exponentially less work the more you have, because you're doing it all in one fell swoop. Like the BSX file will have the same number of lots, but way more quantity or whatever.
Yeah. I just want to add to that that maybe you don't have to wait till you have 20,000 pieces if your store isn't quite as big
Yeah,
as David's.
I don't need to make like it doesn't need to be a hard number. Just sort of have a threshold is my main point. Don't and this is really just the main I guess thesis of every episode is don't do things randomly
Yeah.
unless you want to. But so obviously there's a middle ground between picking a part out of a tote randomly, uploading it, and doing that all day, and processing 10,000 pounds fully. Just find where you are between those two things.
Yeah. I definitely it kind of scales upward as you get more
Yeah.
bulk sorted. Like when I was just the only person sorting, I was just waiting till I had a shoe bin full of something. Or if it was, bigger parts, I'd wait till I had, two or three. And now that I have people sorting and I have such a big backlog of sorted stuff, I'm waiting till I have a lot more than that to
Yeah.
upload. But like, sometimes you just need to upload something, and so I just take whatever's the
Yeah.
fullest.
I'll say don't sacrifice build up for not uploading. But for me, my sort of fallback, or what it used to be, because now I do pretty much always have catalog stuff that needs to go up. But my fallback used to be just go in the minifigs thing, take a handful, and add all of that.
Yeah.
and and that for a small store that can be a day's work, honestly. And that is something that's always good. You don't actually always need to be adding sorted bulk. Um, just adding anything's better than nothing. But when the opportunity presents itself, several shoe bins or whatever of a category is a good place to start.
Yeah. Or, as much as you need to do. Like you do a whole tote, don't you?
Yeah, it's getting to two. There's about to be so I was gonna say my first Technic upload ever, just me, was two shoe bins of Technic, and the one that we've just about finished processing was, and shout out to Paul who I know is watching. He sorted the Technic for me. Great guy, Paul. Um, we were just about to finish it. That was like 2.5 shoe bins, like 70 pounds or 60 some. So yeah, stuff scales, and really just be ready to sort of pivot. Is that's the main thing with scaling anything, but you're going to need a bigger area if people are sorting for you to build up a backlog of categories and just to house parts for them to go out, parts that just came back. Have a lot of bags, reuse the bags, and yeah, and I think um, hey I've got some small bags. These are for catalogers though. Just reuse bags because there's no reason not to. Um, and this goes back to what Nikki was saying about building little starter packs. This is a good thing. Oh,
I
build
just have
like
drawers of bags behind me.
put yourself in a position to have a lot more if you want to hire out sorting and to have a lot more starting packs than you need. So if you want like two people to help you, I would say just print 10 out because eventually you'll probably use them. If this is something that you can see yourself doing for more than 10 months.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's sorting. Our next episode, at least at some point in the future, we are going to do an episode on cataloging.
Cataloging and the greatest invention of mankind, brick store.
All right. See you guys in the next episode.
Smash that like button, find the sorted categories below. Donate any monetary value you feel like you've gained from this video to our PayPal links below. Thanks for watching.